Hello friends, this video will show you how to make this individual heart and shells motif to make a bigger project. On my last video, which is part 4, I have shown you how to connect the hearts together to make a doily. So as you can see in this pattern, in this doily, that all the hearts are facing each other and they're connected toward the top of the heart right here. This is the top of the heart, and we will call this the bottom, or for the sake of clarity, we'll call this part of the heart as the top of the heart, and this is the tip of the heart. So this side is leaning toward the tip of the heart, and this side that's already connected are facing toward the top of the heart. This is important so you will know what I'm talking about when I'm referencing this side of the heart. Because to make this project bigger, then we will have to connect more heart motifs on this toward the tip of the heart on this side, and this side, and this side. And the result of that is this. So by connecting the sides that's oriented toward the tip of the heart, we make this different shape. So this is now connected here, whereas before we connected on this top of the heart. So we can see that the hearts are actually facing away from each other, while the other one, the motifs are facing toward each other. Here you can see that they are facing toward each other. So we are now going to make a scarf. This is a scarf now that I made, but you can actually make a tablecloth now once we learn how to connect the loops at the tip of the heart together. So now let us see what we need to do in order to do that. So I used this ring, the original ring, to make the heart and shells motif as a reference point when marking the loops. So this loop at the top of the ring is going to be left free, meaning not connected to anything. So this is how we are going to mark this. So from this loop right here, we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 loops and mark the 6th loop. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, because this and this are going to be joined by another heart and shells motif. So let's mark this, leaving this one free. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now this marks the beginning and ending of loops that are to be connected. So this is the previous motif now, and this is the current motif. The current motif is the one that I'm currently working on. So we are going to finish the current motif up to the mark area. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shell, and we mark the 6th shell. And the 6th shell is where we are going to make the first single crochet, which joins the two motifs together, the current motif to the previous motif. So let us now do that. Before I begin the demo, pin this so that the work does not move around while I'm showing you how the loops are connected together. I'm still making the chain 5. I already made 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I already made the loops following the instructions on the last part of part 2 of the heart and shells video tutorials. We are going to make a single crochet there. Then from this point on, we are going to make chain 2, 1, 2, and join onto the mark loop. So it is joined. Another thing we have to mark is that these last 3 shells are connected by a chain 3 loop. So we are going to mark this 1, 2, 3, the 3rd shell, so that we know when to start making a chain 1 before connecting instead of chain 2. So there we connected by making a single crochet, so we chain 2 and go back to the current motif and single crochet on the next shell of the current motif. So chain 2, 1, 2, and join into the loop of the previous motif, chain 2, and single crochet on the corner of the next shell of the current motif, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet on the marked corner of next shell of the current motif. And now we begin the chain 3 joining. So we make a chain 1, chain 1, and single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, chain 1, and single crochet on the next shell of the current motif, chain 1, single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, chain 1 and single crochet on the next corner of the shell, then chain 1 and single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, and from here there is no more joining that's going to be done, but we need to finish these loops just like we did on part 2 of the Heart and Shells tutorial. So we end right here. So let me just do this with chain 1 and single crochet on the first single crochet on the ring, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and skip 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and single crochet on the next single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet on the next loop, and remember we have a chain 3 on these 2 loops here, so I mean 2 corners, 1 and 2. So let us mark this shell to be the ending of the chain 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3, and single crochet on the next corner of the shell, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet on the next corner of the shell. So from here on we are going to make chain 5, single crochet on the next corner, repeat the same set of stitches, chain 5, single crochet on the next corner until you reach the beginning of the row 13. Then you repeat this process on the other side. Double check that you have joined the right loops by doing this. To check that there are 3 free loops, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that's where the joining going to end. And here we mark the 6th shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shells. So we are repeating this process here only on the reverse order because this is a mirror image of this. So instead of starting from the loops that are toward the top of the heart, we're starting on loops toward the tip of the heart. So I already made a loop starting from here as before, following the instructions. And we leave the loop on top of the ring free. Chain 1, single crochet into the marked loop of the previous motif. Chain 1, single crochet on the shell of the current motif, chain 1, single crochet onto the next loop of the previous motif, chain 1, single crochet on the next shell of the current motif, chain 1, single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif. So we connected the chain 3 loops, then begin the chain 5 single crochet joining. So chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet on the next shell of the current motif, chain 2, single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, and keep repeating these instructions up to the mark stitches here. So chain 2 and single crochet back into the corner of the next shell of the current motif, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet back into the next loop of the previous motif, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet back into the next corner of the shell of the current motif, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif, chain 2, 1 and 2, and single crochet on the next corner of the shell of the current motif, and we are done with the joining. Let's check to make sure that we join the correct loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 1, 2, 3 free loops here. 1, 2, 3 free loops. And so we will mark this 1, 2, 3. This already marked. Then we are going to continue to work toward here, and remember that when we reached this, we are going to join the loops here. So after joining this side, we are going to make chain 5 loops without joining into anything until we reach the mark shell. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet on the next shell, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet on the next shell, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet on the marked corner of the shell. Then we will begin the joining. So we are joining the two hearts that's kind of facing or leaning toward each other. So make a chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet on the mark loop of the previous motif. Chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet on the next corner of the next shell of the current motif. Chain 2, single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif. Chain 2, single crochet on the next corner of the next shell. Chain 2, single crochet on the next loop of the previous motif. Then chain 2, 1, 2. Since this is the last joining stitch on the next shell, we are going to make a slip stitch and make a chain 1 and tighten the stitch, and we can cut the yarn at this point. And we can close the stitch and hide the yarn tail. So on the next video we will do the insert number 2, join the insert number 2 here. This is all for now, and on my next video we are going to make the insert number 2, because this right here was insert number 1, and I will show you how to join the insert number 2 onto this pre-joined motifs, and it will look like this. Thank you all for watching, and see you then.